Well, get ready to keep staying in at night. That curfew for Ohio will be extended. That is the warning today by Governor Mike DeWine. Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. I'm Andrew Kinsey.
And I'm Yolanda Harris. The goal of this statewide curfew, which is set to expire in 3 days, is to cut down on the number of cases of COVID-19 in Ohio. And today we saw more than 9,000 newly confirmed cases and 56 confirmed deaths. When we put the new cases on our 14-day moving average chart, you can see the line is slightly flattening. The blank spot on the chart there is from Thanksgiving, when the state did not release daily data. DeWine says he will give more curfew details on Thursday.
10 TV's Kevin Landers live at the State House tonight. And Kevin, the governor indicated that curfew is working.
That's right. You know, the governor says that the cases of COVID-19 continue to be way too high, but he believes that we could be seeing a plateau, and to help drive down those numbers, he's extending the curfew, but he didn't give very much details as to how long it will last or, in fact, when it will start, but we'll get those details on Thursday. Now, the governor also failed to take any further action to ease the stress on hospitals statewide. 2 nurses joined the press conference today to talk about the burnout staff workers are experiencing because of increases in hospitalizations and the lack of beds for COVID patients. Tomorrow, the governor warned that we are going to see a higher than normal number of positive cases. He says it's the result of clearing more than 12,000 antigen test results that were backlogged since November 1st. Unlike in the past, these test results will not be required to have an epidemiological link.
To be clear, all these backlog tests will not translate into new cases, not all of them. We have been averaging 12,500 antigen tests per day, with more positive results from those tests, averaging about 700 positive per day on average.
Now, the governor was also asked to clarify his statement he made last week that we need to do more to slow down the spread of COVID-19. He said today that simply means we need to pull back more and not have as many social contacts as we've been having in the past. Andrew?
Yeah, Kevin, that caught a lot of attention last week when he sent that tweet out. Kevin, the governor also touching on vaccinations today. What new details did we learn about that today?
Yeah, so here's what we learned. We learned that if someone gets a vaccine their first time, right, it takes 2 doses. So that first shot, let's say it's a Pfizer vaccine, when you come back and get your second vaccine shot, it will also be from Pfizer. So you won't have a Pfizer shot and then you'll have a Moderna shot. So you'll get the same tally of how many people in the state get vaccinated. You will see that on the state dashboard. And we also learned from the state's chief medical officer that even someone who has had COVID-19 and recovered, those people are still encouraged to get a vaccination. And the reason, he says, is those vaccinations help build a more robust immunity. Now remember, vaccines in Ohio are not mandatory, they are voluntary. Andrew?
All right, Kevin Landers live at the State House tonight. Kevin, thank you so much. And coming up at 5:30, we'll take a closer look at what's happening this week to get the vaccine approved. Also, a warning from the FBI about scams involving the promise of a vaccine.
Breaking news tonight in the deadly shooting involving a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation will now take over the investigation from Columbus Police. Friday's shooting involving a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy took the life of 23-year-old Casey Goodson Jr.
You may recall this happened in Estates Place near the intersection of Carl and Ferris Roads on the city's north side. Crime Tracker 10's Lacey Crisp has new information about the deputy accused in the shooting.
Franklin County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Mead is not on duty as investigators try to figure out what led up to the fatal shooting.
My grandson just got shot in the back when he came in the house, and I don't know if he's okay.
That is the 911 call from Casey Goodson Jr.'s grandmother Friday afternoon. According to Columbus Police, Franklin County Sheriff's deputies were in the north side of Columbus as a part of the U.S. Marshals Task Force looking for violent offenders. Goodson was not a target of the investigation, but the U.S. Marshal says Goodson was driving down the street and waved a gun at deputies. One of the deputies, 17-year veteran Jason Mead, who was permanently assigned to the task force, was involved in a verbal altercation with Goodson, according to Columbus Police. That is when investigators say Mead fired his gun at Goodson. Goodson died from his injuries.
Is there anybody in the house that can tell you who shot him?
No, they don't know. They were threatening everybody in the house.
The U.S. Marshal says a gun was recovered from Goodson at the scene. The Pike County prosecutor confirms that Deputy Meade was involved in a fatal shooting in Pike County back in 2018. He explains Meade, along with 6 other deputies, shot and killed David Arthur. All of the deputies involved were cleared of any wrongdoing. There will be an autopsy performed on Goodson this week. In Columbus, Lacey Crisp, 10 TV News.
And tonight we're hearing from a family friend of the man shot by the deputy. 10 TV's Stephanie Stanovich picks up our team coverage.
Hurt. My family's hurting. My sister's hurt. We were not expecting any news like that.
Chelsea Henderson says her younger sister Nia was dating Casey Christopher Goodson Jr. for a little over a year.
We love Casey.
She says adding to the pain of losing Goodson is the unanswered questions surrounding his death.
I believe his family's story.
The family's attorney says Goodson came back from a dentist appointment Friday, was carrying food, unlocked the front door, and as he entered, he was shot. Columbus police say the Franklin County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Meade, who was working as a member of the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force on Friday, reported seeing a man with a gun. The U.S. Marshals Service said the man was waving the gun at deputies.
There's no way. For one, Casey was very responsible with his weapons. He was a licensed carrier. He knew the laws. Like, we talked, you know what I'm saying, for hours on end about stuff like that.
CPD's report continues on, saying after the gun was seen, there were verbal exchanges and the deputy fired at Goodson. For Henderson, right now, she's just in shock with all of it.
He just was so laid back and chill. Like, you could talk to him about anything. He was so respectful to elders and my mom. I just want his family to know that me and Nia, my sister, we're standing behind them.
Reporting in Columbus, Stephanie Stanovich, 10 TV News.